Have you ever looked into someone's eyes, someone close to you, while they smiled and said all the right things? They congratulated you, told you they were proud, but deep inside, something twisted, a faint ache in your gut, a quiet voice in your soul that whispered, "This isn't real." There was no insult, no argument, no betrayal, just something off. Their laughter felt rehearsed, their applause delayed, their presence strangely draining. You tried to brush it off, told yourself you were too sensitive, but you weren't wrong. Carl Jung, the father of analytical psychology, understood this precisely. He believed that the human psyche carries a shadow, the repressed, denied, darker side of our personalities, the part people hide not only from others but often from themselves. And when someone hasn't integrated that shadow, it leaks through sarcasm disguised as humor, through advice that undermines instead of uplifts, through concern that cages, not protects, through a smile that never quite reaches the eyes. Sometimes the ones who clap for you secretly hope you'll trip on the way up. Not because they're evil, but because your light reflects everything they've abandoned in themselves. This isn't paranoia, it's a survival instinct. Your unconscious picks up on energy long before your brain catches the clues. We're taught to doubt that instinct, to give people the benefit of the doubt, to be nice, even when something inside us screams, no. But what if that discomfort isn't drama? What if it's truth? In this video, I'll reveal 8 subtle, often ignored signs that someone close to you may secretly resent you or even hate you beneath the surface. Not everyone who stands beside you is rooting for you. Some are studying your every move, waiting for your guard to drop. And the most dangerous part? They don't stab you in the back. They hug you while draining your spirit. These signs are not meant to make you bitter. They're meant to make you aware. Because emotional freedom begins with clarity. If you've ever felt that strange, invisible tension around someone who should love you, watch until the end. The final sign will flip a switch in your perception forever. And if this message resonates, tap subscribe to join a space where we decode human behavior, heal hidden wounds, and reclaim your peace. Your journey toward inner truth starts now. Sign number 1, sarcasm. The velvet-covered blade. It starts innocently. They smile, they laugh, they say, "Relax, I'm just joking." But deep down, the joke always cuts too close to home. It touches the one wound you wish people didn't see, your weight, your past, your insecurities. And they do it again and again. Each time, just a little sharper. You try to laugh along, because if you don't, you're too sensitive. Too serious. You don't want to be the dramatic one in the room, but let's call it what it is. This isn't humor, it's harm, not comedy, contempt. Carl Jung once said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves, but not everyone is ready to understand themselves. So they project. They aim their unprocessed pain outward, toward you. And sarcasm becomes the weapon of choice, because sarcasm gives them cover. It lets them hide behind a smirk while drawing emotional blood. It's cruelty in costume, dressed up as wit. You know it's happening when their jokes always revolve around your soft spots. You feel smaller, not lighter, after their humor. You dread speaking your truth around them. And yet if you bring it up, they'll deflect. You're overreacting. God, can't you take a joke? But your body knows. Your soul contracts. The room gets colder, and your spirit starts to hide, bit by bit, every time they walk in. That's not friendship. It's psychological warfare. The scary part? They may not even realize they're doing it. Their sarcasm is a symptom of something deeper. Unacknowledged resentment, envy, insecurity. And instead of dealing with it consciously, they let it leak. Through jokes that sting, laughter that isolates, and punchlines that always come at your expense. Jung called this projection. when someone casts their inner shadow onto others. They don't hate you, not directly. They hate something you represent. Your confidence, your growth, your freedom. And mocking you becomes their coping mechanism. So what do? You set a boundary, not with anger, but with clarity. And you say, "That's not funny to me." You don't need to argue. You don't need to explain. Because the moment someone turns your pain into entertainment, they've already revealed who they are. Sarcasm, when used like this, is not harmless. It's a quiet, constant erosion of your self-worth. A smile with a blade hidden behind it. And the first sign that the love you thought was safe may not be love at all. Sign number 2, subtle sabotage, the knife wrapped in concern. It doesn't look like betrayal, it looks like concern. A soft voice, a tilted head, the words, "I just don't want you to get hurt." But somehow, every time you listen, you feel smaller, less certain, less alive. They forget to mention the opportunity you needed to hear about. They accidentally give you advice that steers you off course. They say they're proud of you, but never show up when it matters. They're always busy, again and again. Once, that's life. Twice, coincidence. 3, 4, 5 times. That's a pattern. That's sabotage. And the worst part is, they never look like the villain. They hug you while holding the knife. They praise you while quietly planting seeds of doubt. Carl Jung warned us, people will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul. So instead of rising, instead of healing, some choose to pull others down. Not with anger, but with sweet-sounding concern. They say, "Are you sure this is realistic? I just think you might be rushing. Maybe you're not ready yet." And it sounds reasonable, even mature. But inside, you feel the fire of your vision start to dim. Not because they've convinced you, but because their doubt has wrapped itself around your confidence. You begin second-guessing yourself, asking permission before every move, waiting for their approval, not trusting your intuition. But here's the truth. People who secretly resent your growth will do anything to keep you small. Not because they hate you, but because your light reminds them of the parts they've refused to develop. Your momentum threatens their stagnation, so they play the long game. They don't destroy your dreams. They delay them. They water your fears. They smile as you shrink. Jung called this projection, when one's undealt shadow uses others as a scapegoat. They can't stand the mirror your success holds up, so they fog the glass with well-intended words and misdirected guidance. This is not friendship, it's control, disguised as care. How do you know it's happening? Ask yourself, do I feel more empowered after talking to them? Or do I feel drained, uncertain, smaller? True support lifts you, even when it's honest. False support wraps a leash in love and calls it looking out for you. If someone keeps forgetting your victories, if their help always leaves you doubting yourself, step back. Their concern might not be for your well-being, but for maintaining control over your wings. Subtle sabotage doesn't scream, it whispers, and if you don't catch it early, you'll confuse the hand holding you down for the one trying to lift you up. Sign number 3, silent competition, the war you never entered. It always starts quietly. You share a win, a new job, a creative breakthrough, a personal milestone. You're glowing, lit from within. You expect celebration, a genuine "I'm proud of you," maybe a warm hug. But instead, they shift. "Oh, wow. Guess what happened to me?" Suddenly, your story is sidelined. Your joy is a cue for them to outshine. You speak of your climb. They pull out a summit. You shine for a second. They dim the light, just enough to take it back. This is not an accident. It's not coincidence. It's silent competition, a subtle ego war where the scoreboard is hidden, but the tension is palpable. Carl Jung once said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." But instead of understanding themselves, these people use your progress to highlight their pain. They don't see your rise as inspiration. They see it as comparison, as a threat. The better you do, the more uneasy they become. Because now they have to face the gap between where they are and where they wish they were. And instead of asking how you did it, they ask themselves, how do I get the spotlight back? They won't say it out loud. They'll still smile. They'll even offer hollow applause. But watch closely. Their eyes don't light up. Their compliments land flat. Their tone feels off. And then, right after your good news comes their update. Bigger, better, louder, or at least time to steal the moment. You're not imagining it. You didn't make this a competition. They did. Because to them, friendship isn't about connection. It's about hierarchy. If you climb too high, they feel too low. And so begins the unspoken game. You share less. You shrink your joy. You dim your own light to keep their ego safe. But here's the truth. Real friends don't compete with your happiness. They multiply it. If your wins spark coldness, if every success you share becomes a cue for them to one-up or redirect, then you're not being supported. You're being strategically contained. You didn't join a contest, but you're in one, and the only way to win is to stop playing, keep growing, keep shining, even if it makes them squint, because your light isn't the problem, their shadow is. Sign number 4, superficial kindness, the smile without a soul. They say all the right things. I'm happy for you. That's amazing. You deserve it. But something feels off. The words are perfect, textbook even, but the eyes don't match. The energy is flat. Their presence, nowhere to be found when it really matters. You can't quite explain it. But your intuition screams, this is hollow. Carl Jung called this ego dissociation. When someone is so emotionally detached, so guarded that their presence becomes a performance. They've rehearsed their lines, they know the script, but they've forgotten how to actually feel it. They'll like your posts, they'll comment with emojis, they might even show up at your party. But the connection? Nowhere. Because genuine love doesn't show up just to be seen. It shows up to feel. True friends dance in your joy like it's theirs. They don't just say they're proud. You see it in their eyes, feel it in their hugs, hear it in the cracks of their voice when they say, you did it. But superficial kindness? It's like plastic fruit. Looks perfect, tastes like nothing. These people exist on the surface. They smile when it's easy. They congratulate when it's expected. But when you really need them, when life cracks open, when your soul celebrates or bleeds, they vanish. Not out of malice, out of discomfort. Your success, your emotion, your depth reminds them of their own disconnection, so they opt for autopilot kindness. Safe, predictable, emotionally sterile. You'll hear, that's so cool, but see their eyes drift. You'll feel their hugs, short, rushed, just enough to pass the test. You'll tell them big news and they'll nod, but not lean in. It's not that they hate you, it's that they're not capable of showing up fully. And the worst part, you start second-guessing yourself. Maybe I'm being dramatic. Maybe I expect too much. Number, you're not asking for too much. You're asking for realness. So if someone's energy always feels one step removed, if their kindness feels like an auto-reply, recognize it for what it is. Emotional absence, wearing a polite face. A beautiful performance with no one in the audience. And life's too short to star in someone else's hollow show. Thank you for staying with me this far. Your presence means more than you know. Now, let's dive into the 5th hidden sign, perhaps the most deceptive. Sign number 5, controlling through care. When I'm just worried about you becomes a cage. You know I'm just looking out for you. I only say this because I care. You'll understand one day. Sounds gentle, protective, almost loving, right? But if you've ever felt your heart sink right after hearing those words, you're not imagining things. Because sometimes what's dressed up as concern is actually control. It doesn't come with yelling. It doesn't look like a power struggle. In fact, it looks like love. But deep beneath the soft tone and affectionate words lies a subtle erosion of your confidence. You share a dream. They say it's unrealistic. You set a boundary. They call it selfish. You make a decision. They hint you're not thinking straight. And slowly, you begin to doubt yourself. You stop moving without their approval. You wonder, am I being reckless or just independent? Carl Jung captured this dynamic perfectly. People who cannot control their own chaos often seek to dominate others to feel safe. They don't trust life. They don't trust the unknown. So, when you start reaching for the sky, they offer you ropes, disguised as safety nets. The manipulation isn't loud. It's strategic. They guide you with warnings, not commands. They dress doubt as wisdom. They call your ambition naive, your intuition impulsive, your independence a phase. And because you trust them, you shrink, you second guess. You wait for permission to be yourself. That's not love. That's emotional conditioning. True support doesn't sound like, let me tell you what to do. It sounds like, even if you fall, I'll still believe in you. Someone who truly loves you will empower you, even when they're scared for you. They'll walk beside you, not steer your path. They'll offer guidance, not guilt. If someone's care consistently makes you feel small, dependent, or incapable, it's not care. It's control wrapped in velvet. Because real love gives you wings. False concern tightens chains around your spirit. So ask yourself, do they help you grow or keep you close by keeping you small? Sign number 6, gossip, when loyalty dies behind closed doors. You walk into the room. Smiles flicker, eyes avoid yours, and the air thickens with something you can't quite name. No one says anything, but you feel it. Like you've just been discussed, dissected, reduced to whispers behind your back. This is gossip, and it is surgical betrayal. It's not loud. It's not obvious. It's not a knife. They'd never be so direct. It's a scalpel. Precise, hidden, silent, and it cuts deeper because it comes from someone you trust. They won't say, I have a problem with you. Instead, they'll say to someone else, don't you think she's changed lately? They won't confront you. They'll corrode your image in your absence. Carl Jung said, the brighter your light, the darker your shadow becomes in the eyes of others. And that's the truth behind gossip. It often comes from those who feel small in your light. They don't want your life. They want to dim it, quietly. Instead of rising to meet your growth, they pull you down through suggestions and suspicions. They'll twist your words, question your intentions, make others doubt you, just enough to create distance, but they'll still hug you, still laugh with you, still comment, so proud of you, under your latest post. It's psychological warfare with a smile. Why? Because they lack the emotional maturity to say, I feel left behind. I'm struggling with my own insecurities. Instead, they choose the coward's path, venting envy behind your back rather than facing it head-on. And it works, because gossip is contagious. It spreads like smoke, subtle but suffocating. Suddenly, people treat you differently. They don't know why, but they've inhaled the poison. Here's the truth. If someone consistently talks about others to you, they're likely talking about you to others. If you feel like rooms go cold, conversations shift, and people look away too quickly, trust that. It's not paranoia, it's pattern recognition. Jung believed that those who don't confront their own shadows project them onto others. So, when someone gossips, it's not about you, it's about them. Their jealousy, their insecurity, their need to feel superior by shrinking someone else. Real friends will tell you the truth to your face. Fake ones will sell your secrets for social currency. So, the next time your soul whispers, something's off, listen. Because silence speaks louder than slander ever could. Sign number 7, no joy in your success. When support turns silent, they were there when you were broken. When your dreams were dust and your days were heavy, they offered a shoulder, a kind word, maybe even a drink and a joke to lift your spirits. They seemed like real friends, the kind who show up when things are tough. But then, something strange happened. You started rising. You got the promotion, published that book, lost the weight, healed the wounds, spoke your truth. And suddenly, they changed. No congratulations, no excitement, no light in their eyes. You text them the good news, I finally did it. And they reply with, cool, or worse, just a heart emoji. You sense the chill in their tone, the withdrawal in their presence. When you talk about your wins, they change the subject. When you shine, they fade. Not because you did anything wrong, but because your success reflects everything they've ignored in their own lives. As Carl Jung once said, your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. But for some people, your clarity becomes a mirror they don't want to face. See, when you were struggling, you were relatable. You were no threat. Your pain made them feel needed. Your failure was safe. But now, your glow becomes a spotlight on their stagnation, and instead of cheering you on, they retreat into bitterness wrapped in silence. This isn't just jealousy, it's emotional abandonment. Real friends grow with you. They clap when you win, not just when you're wounded. They don't see your joy as competition. They see it as shared light. But the ones who can't smile at your triumphs, they were never celebrating you. They were celebrating the version of you that made them feel superior. And now that you've outgrown that version, they don't know how to relate anymore. So they withdraw, not loudly, not angrily, but passively, subtly, like a tide pulling away from the shore. Don't chase that tide. You don't owe anyone your dimming. You don't need to shrink to be loved. If your glow exposes their shadow, that's not your burden to carry. Your success doesn't change who you are. It reveals who they always were. Sign number 8, body language. The truth they can't hide. Words can lie. Smiles can be rehearsed. Compliments can be memorized like lines from a play. But the body doesn't know how to fake. When someone secretly resents you, they might say all the right things. I'm so happy for you. You totally deserved it. You're amazing. But look deeper, because the truth leaks out between the syllables. Notice their eyes. Do they meet yours with warmth, or do they dart away, unfocused, restless, searching for the exit? Look at their smile. Is it full, real, radiant, or is it a thin, stiff line that fades too fast? Do their shoulders lean in with interest, or pull back like they're shielding themselves from your light? Carl Jung said it best. The unconscious always speaks through the body, because when someone harbors envy, discomfort, or even silent hatred, their nervous system reacts instantly, their breathing gets shallow, their jaw clenches ever so slightly, their body angles away from you in conversation, their tone flattens when you talk about your joy. They clap a second too late. They hug you, but there's no squeeze, no warmth, just a formality. And here's the twist. You feel it before you see it. You walk into a room and something shifts. You share a win and the air changes. You laugh and no one echoes it. That's your intuition, the deep, ancient radar your ancestors passed down, honed for survival long before language existed. It picks up on micro-expressions, micro-movements, and energetic dissonance faster than your mind can explain. So if you feel off around someone, if your body tenses even when their words are sweet, believe yourself. Trust that signal, because real connection radiates congruence. The eyes smile with the mouth. The posture leans in. The energy joins you. But fake connection? It's like watching a bad actor pretend to care. Their words will pass, but their body will speak the truth every time. So watch the feet that turn away while they're engaged. Notice the hands that stay in pockets instead of reaching out. Feel the temperature of the hug that leaves you cold. This isn't paranoia. This is perception. And in a world full of masks, learning to read the body is your shield. Because your energy deserves to be met, not merely tolerated. Not everyone in your circle is in your corner, and that's one of life's hardest truths. They smiled with you, walked beside you, maybe even held your hand when things were falling apart. But when you start rising, growing, glowing, stepping into your power, they pull back. Their eyes don't light up. Their energy turns cold. Suddenly, your wins feel like threats instead of celebrations. Carl Jung taught us that we project our shadows onto others, and when people haven't made peace with their own insecurities, your light becomes unbearable to them, not because you've changed, but because your change reminds them that they haven't. So here's the truth that may sting, but will set you free. You don't owe anyone your silence, your dimmed-down self, or your energy, especially not those who only ever return shadows when you offer light. Because real love, real friendship, doesn't shrink you. It doesn't guilt you into apologizing for your success. It doesn't mock you for fun, sabotage your path, or gossip behind your back. It celebrates you loudly, supports you quietly, and stands beside you, whether you're at your lowest or your highest. But when someone can do that, when their presence drains you, their laughter cuts you, their care confines you, then what you're in isn't a relationship. It's a performance. One where you keep rewriting your lines, softening your edges, hoping they'll finally see you. And yet they never do. Here's the liberating part. You don't have to keep performing. You don't have to keep proving your worth to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You don't have to beg someone to clap for you if they were never happy to see you stand in the first place. Self-love, real self-love, doesn't start with mantras or spa days. It starts with boundaries, with saying, this energy no longer has access to me, with choosing discomfort over dishonesty, solitude over fake connection, and that might be painful at first. Letting go often is, but in time you'll realize peace isn't lonely, it's sacred. You'll find people who don't flinch at your fire, who don't feel threatened by your truth, who don't need you to shrink to feel tall. And until then, honor your intuition, that quiet voice, that gut feeling, that tension in your chest. It's your soul pointing you back home. You don't need to expose the ones who hate you in secret. You don't need revenge. You just need clarity and the courage to walk away, because your light is not meant for rooms that dim it. It's meant to shine in spaces that reflect it. So stop pouring yourself into those who only reflect your shadow. That's not love. That's leakage. And you, my friend, were built for more. If this message resonated with something deep inside you, don't keep it to yourself. Hit subscribe to join a space where truth, psychology, and soulful healing meet. And if this video gave you clarity, give it a like, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and drop a comment. I protect my peace. because your journey matters and you don't have to walk it alone.